Now, for more on the Recovery Act 1 year later, I'm joined from the White House by Bernstein. He's chief economist for Vice President Joe Biden, one of the administration's point men on the stimulus effort. Jared, always good to see you. Thanks for the time. And here we are a year later. Why do you think, Jared, the debate continues over the Recovery Act and its merits?
Well, for a couple of reasons. First of all, as I think the president alluded to today, this is a large package with a lot of moving parts. And if you ask people about the whole thing in aggregate, a lot of times they're going to conflate it with the TARP, the bank program. In fact, if you then say, what do you think of the extensions to unemployment insurance to help those folks who are stuck without a job? What do you think about the tax cuts to 95% of working families? What do you think about the investments in health IT, in broadband, in clean energy, setting up some of the industries that are not just creating good jobs today, but setting us up for growth opportunities tomorrow? Those things poll at an approval rate of 60 to 80%. So part of this is breaking it down. But then there's another piece, which is, look, the unemployment rate is 9.7%. That is way unacceptably too high. In the absence of the stimulus, of course, it would be significantly higher. The numbers you cited in your introduction make that case.
Well, let me ask you, where would we be, Jared, without it? For example, unemployment, where do you think we would be without the stimulus package?
Closer to 11%. And so, the numbers you set up in your introduction are exactly right. Nonpartisan, independent folks look at this impact and will tell you created or saved about 2 million jobs so far. We're talking about the deepest recession in the labor market since the Great Depression, a loss of over 8 million jobs over the course of this recession. I hadn't seen anything like the hemorrhaging of employment in the first quarter of last year, 750,000 jobs per month on average. By pulling us back from the brink, this program has poised us for a better expansion moving forward. In year two, making the kinds of investments we're talking about making now, it's going to help promote growth going forward.
Jared, is the most valid criticism then what we heard from Joseph Stiglitz, that perhaps the stimulus wasn't big enough to begin with?
Look, as your setup, I think, very aptly showed, there's going to be critics on the too small side, critics on the too large side. We face a number of constraints when you put together a package like this, and we think we got the largest, most fast-acting package that the freight would bear. I mean, one of the things I want to point out is that this was passed less than 4 weeks after we got here, with this president working with the Congress. And immediately, tax cuts to individuals and fiscal relief to states got out the door. I'm talking about a matter of weeks to help offset some of those very deep losses I've talked about. So I think the construction of this program has been very apt. But I also think, and this does relate to Stiglitz's critique, more needs to be done. And you hear the president talking about that in the context of targeted job programs moving forward.